Have you like dug into what like those like psychological ramifications are now of like growing up in that type of family, like both positive and negative?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there are a lot of really like you grew up with this like insanely strong connection with like a large number of people
Yeah.
that most people do not have.
Hmm.
Like my family, I thought was big, and we have like there's 4 kids, which is like
Yeah,
nothing.
huge. I'm like, great, bro.
Yeah.
It's a huge family. No, I got you.
So yeah, what do you think about that?
I have not dove into it, but now that you mention it, that would be an interesting rabbit hole to go through.
Yeah.
But when I zoom out, I think it helps me like be more understanding, compassionate for people who can't do things that I can do, or that I just like walking. Oh, you just walk, you know what I'm saying? But like, just like trying to get on their map and be like, okay, how can I help this person take their first step? You know, stuff like that. And then my accident, you know, it humbled me, and I couldn't walk, and so there were a lot of things that like I took from growing up that helped me, you know,
Mhm.
recover, or just like help me give back to other people that, you know, can't do things themselves. As far as like negative, the biggest thing I can think of is just like the fact that we were like sheltered and like so closed off.
Mhm.
Is like, if you didn't like your siblings and that's all you saw, you're not gonna like your life, you know what I'm saying? And I was, like I said, I was pretty chill, so I didn't have any beef with anybody. But like there were times where I was like, all right, I don't want to see you again. I don't want to see you tomorrow. Like I want to see something else. I want to do something else. So I feel like that definitely for my older siblings that, you know, like went off the wrong path. It was kind of an overload.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's because I was the fourth youngest. There was 20 more siblings ahead of me, and you know we were always preached, you know, like Christian household, don't do drugs, say no to this, and it got to the point where like it was so much that when they went to high school for the first time, it was overload, just like all of that in their face, and some of them dealt with it different ways, and then some of them just like dove into it, and then it led them to being in trouble with the law or like getting in trouble in school and stuff like that. And so I think being the youngest, I got to see, oh, don't do that, you know. So that helped me, but for them, unfortunately, they were kind of the guinea pigs and kind of
Right.
like, don't do this, okay, I'm gonna do it because they said don't do it, you know.
Yeah, my mom grew up in Wisconsin, and her mom was German and her dad spoke German, so they just learned German growing up.
Yeah,
And then her oldest brother went to school and was like didn't speak English.
mm.
And he was the only one, like he only spoke German, didn't speak any
Yeah,
English. And then when he came home, like then they started to learn English. And so by the
yeah,
time she got to school, like she
yeah,
spoke English, she could fit in.
yeah,
So almost kind of similar in
yeah,
a
yeah.
certain way. That is interesting, that idea of just being closed off completely as a full family. And so did you go to high school, or were you homeschooled through high school?
Homeschooled throughout, but when I was 14 was when we started introducing high school. And
Okay.
so my 17-year-olds, my 16-year-old siblings, they went first to kind of like a test it out. And the plan was when it got down to me being 16, I'd go to high school. I played football. Hopefully we'll see if I'm good. And that was the plan.
Okay.
There was 2 age groups ahead of me. The first group messed it up. And the second group was kind of like briefed like, hey, don't mess it up. And I was like, please don't mess it up. They messed it up too. And then when it got time to me, it was nah. They're like, nah, we're not going to do that to you. And
No
so I
mercy.
ended up going to Job Corps, got certified as a brick mason, got my GED, and went off to college that way.
Okay.
But yeah, they took what they knew at school and then brought it home into the family, and then our parents started to see the house dynamic change a little bit, and they're like, all right, this ain't it. You know, like mom says don't do this, yeah, but somebody at school said you do this, and you know, the stuff like that, you know. And so a lot of ears and a lot of influence in different places, and then they started seeing the structure of the family kind of go off the rails a little bit. So